Right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Los Angeles City Board of Public Works for Friday, August 20, 2021. Colleagues, it's good to see you all. Representatives of the bureaus, hi everybody. Good morning, Mr. Jordan. Good morning, Dr. Campos.
Good morning. Good morning, President Good. Establishing roll call and quorum for today, we have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Villegas and Caloza. President Good, you do have a quorum. At this time, we currently do not have any callers on the line under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section, and no callers on the line either for any of the items for commentary on any of the items for today's agenda.
All right. Thank you. We have a pretty light agenda, folks, so we'll jump right in, okay? First off, I will motion to approve the minutes from Wednesday, August 4, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Any concerns, Vice President Garcia, Commissioners Caloza and Villegas? Okay, hearing no objections. The minutes from Wednesday, August 4, 2021 are adopted and approved forthwith. That brings us to item number 1 for today, which is revised task order solicitation number 01-012A and budget increase, AECOM Fire Station number 3 project. Recommending the board authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of TOS number 01-012A to AECOM Technical Services, Inc., increasing the budget authority from $234,656 to $409,656, including contingency for the semi-annual groundwater monitoring, reporting, vapor intrusion study, and remedial action plan development for Fire Station number 3 project. Work order E1903353 and C-130606. Who is with us on this item? Is that Ms. June?
This is for Bureau of Engineering, the geotechnical section. My name is Mike Mulhern, and I'll start whenever you're ready, Commissioner.
Please proceed, sir. How are you doing? Good morning.
Thank you. Again, I'm with the geotechnical section. You may have seen this project fairly recently. We have been given an order from the Regional Water Quality Control Board to do more aggressive remediation at this site. We've been monitoring it, and we attempted one remediation several years ago, and we were hoping that that would work its way through, but the Regional Water Quality Board has gotten a little more aggressive. And that was coupled with the fact that normally we request a year's budget from the CAO. And in the past, we've had healthy contingencies, but due to the financial crisis, as you know, they vacuumed up all that money last year. So we have to basically, the required work we started in the previous board report, and now we have to basically do the rest now that we have a new slug of money at the new fiscal year. So this will take us through at least a full fiscal year. And this includes both continued groundwater monitoring. It also includes soil vapor monitoring above the groundwater, which could be a health hazard. We're hoping it's not. But we've also have a contingency in there for what's called a remedial action plan, or a RAP. In other words, if the vapor levels come in a little high, if there's any kind of a threat to the occupants of the buildings, we will proceed with the appropriate remediation. That's basically it for now. We have very good business inclusion program, especially with MBE and WBE. We're a little short on the EBEs just because the specialized nature of the work. But in the past, AECOM has been pretty good in making that up by the end of the contract. And since this is kind of a rush, I respectfully request that this go forthwith, because we need to get the notice to proceed out, hopefully today, and get the AECOM working on this to make these more aggressive deadlines.
Thank you, Mike. All right, any questions or comments? Vice President Garcia.
Good morning, President Good, and everyone else as well. Good morning, Mr. Mike. I don't see your last name. I'm sorry. That's okay. My only question is, it sounds like this is a sense of urgency. Is there something that needs to happen right away?
Well, we just have to get the reports to the regional board by their new aggressive deadline. It's not an emergency. It's not a health issue in the very short term. But they were kind of losing patience with us, continually asking for extensions in our deadlines due to financial issues. And they say basically, well, everyone's got financial issues. So that's it. That's
Okay.
basically the urgency.
Okay. Thank you so much for your report. That's
You're
all
welcome.
for me, President Good.
Thanks, Vice President Garcia. President Pro Tem Davis. Mike, you're muted.
I am muted?
No, I'm sorry, Mike.
Oh, the other Mike.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Sorry about that. The request for us is to look at the vapor intrusion study as a part of the remedial action plan. Is that it, Mike? What specifically are they asking us to do as it relates to the remedial plan, action plan?
Well, in the past, they've concentrated on the groundwater issue. We've cleaned up the soil, and there has been a small amount of this gasoline and its components that made its way to the groundwater. And that's basically the meat and potatoes of the Regional Water Quality Control Board. However, in the last couple of years, industry-wide, not just the regional board, but there's more of an emphasis on what's called soil vapor. In other words, a small amount of this volatiles can work its way up through the soil, possibly into foundations if there's cracks or entryways and so on. So it's more of an industry concern now. So they've asked us to do the soil vapor study, and we've actually started that just to get things rolling. And depending on the levels we have, there's a lot of different factors. How much there, what sort of volatiles are there, how deep, how far away they are from the building. That all goes into a factor, and that comes up with a risk for the occupants of any structure. And if that's above a certain level, industry-wide level, then we have to proceed to remediation. And that can take many forms. One thing that we won't be doing there is what we call dig and haul, because there's no room really to dig up the pavement and the buildings or anything. But there are several other what's called in situ or in place methods that we could use for remediation if the levels require it.
Well, I agree that the request is critically important, and certainly we want to make this a priority. Therefore, I absolutely support the motion. So thank you for the update.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Appreciate the background and just reading a little bit about the board letter yesterday. So I'm fine. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Commissioner Coloso.
Thank you, President Good. I don't have any questions for Mr. Mulhern. I think he did a great job summarizing the need and the project itself. So I look forward to moving this forward and making sure you meet all your new deadlines. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either, and I get the urgency. This needs to happen. So I am good. I'll take a motion to move the item forward.
So move.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got seconds from Colosa and Garcia. Any concerns, Commissioner Villegas? Okay. Hearing none, the item is adopted and approved forthwith. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Good luck.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks. That brings us to item number 2. Contract award, Access Pacific, Inc., Council District 14, Tiny Home Village, Eagle Rock, 7570 North Figueroa Street. Recommending the board, 1, declare Access Pacific, Inc., first low bidder to be lowest responsible bidder and award Access a contract for this project for $2,123,000. 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. And 3, instruct Access to submit their bonds and insurance as soon as possible, but no later than 14 calendar days. Work order E1908843. I see Marina Quinones with us. Good morning, Marina.
Good morning, President Good. Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, I am presenting the report for CD14 Tiny Home Village, Eagle Rock. We're recommending the board award Access Pacific. 2 bids were received on July 21st. The lowest bid came in at about 17% below the city engineer's estimate. This will be a design build contract with a duration of 98 calendar days. So far, Access has delivered 3 sites, and they're currently working on one in construction that's due to complete in September. In regards to the site, the new village is located next to the 134 between the 2 and the 210 freeway. That's the general area. The lot is owned by city, county, and Edison, but we are only building on the city and county lot. The city is going into a lease agreement with the county for the next 3 years. The site will provide 93 beds, amenities such as hygiene, laundry, and outdoor seating areas, as well as a pet area. The cost per bed right now is at about $30,000. The site is paved and it has readily available infrastructure. So we're staying steady at around $30,000 per bed, which is great. We've come a long way. Lastly, the council office has been working closely with the Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council, who actually helped identify this specific site for the shelter. Also, they have the support of Eagle Rock associations such as Tara and Nella, as well as residents and business owners in the area. That completes my report. I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Ms. Quinones. Vice President Garcia, we'll start with you.
Yes. Hi, Marina. Good to see you again. Just something that you said just caught my attention. You said for the next 3 years. Is there a plan or some kind of action after the 3 years?
The county has only agreed to 3 years on this site. They did not agree to an option to renew.
Okay. So I guess then maybe a year from now or 2 years, we'll figure out what happens after, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Well, good to know that then. Thank you. That's all for me, President.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Commissioner Villegas.
Thank you. Appreciate the report, Ms. Quinones. Can you walk me through exactly where the location is? Because I looked it up, but it looks like it's in the underpass of the 134 and the 2, and I see some other some other land that's available, and I just wasn't sure where it's at.
It's right before. It's on Figueroa, and it's right before the underpass. So if you're traveling on the 134 and you look to the right, you can actually see it. So it's near the underpass, but it's by the 134 between the 2 and the 210. There's an Eagle Rock Rec Center across the street.
Oh, okay. So it is the park.
Yes, it's across from the park.
Across from the. Oh, I see it.
Empty parking lot right now.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. All right, and so I appreciate that. All right, most of these, well, that's where the homeless encampment is already going on anyways. And most of these have been taking place on our parking lots.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Yes. Thank you so much, Marina, for this report. I wanted to ask, in terms of the project in and of itself, the construction of it, how long does it take for it to be completed?
98 calendar days. So
98 days. Wow.
We'll issue NTP, and the design build contractor will proceed to complete design, get permits, and obtain a certificate of occupancy. So it's very fast paced.
And how many, what did you say the capacity was per bed again?
For this site, it's 93 beds.
And the issue you raised with Commissioner Garcia with regard to the county's commitment, which is 3 years to allow us to use their portion of the property, what then in terms of short-term planning will occur after the 3 years? For example, if they don't allow us to use their property, what do we do?
So that will be a conversation between CAO and LAZA, how to determine to displace these individuals. Either they go to other shelters, as you know, we have ABH sites as well.
What do we do with do we tear down this site at that time or at 3 years?
So that conversation hasn't happened. That contingency plan of, okay, what happens if 3 years comes and there's no lease extension? So that conversation needs to happen in the next year or year and a half, like Commissioner Garcia shared.
Yeah, that would be certainly something that we would really want to know sooner than later, given our commitment to invest in this problem that I don't foresee having been eradicated in 3 years. We would want to know going into such an investment that in 3 years this investment may or may not be viable or reliable, right?
Understood. Yeah, understood. And I think CAO has engaged not too much of a conversation with that. And LASA, as you know, LASA is really overseeing the operation of these facilities. CAO is funding capital improvement money for them. So there is an agreement as well with county. County funds the operation. And so it is a conversation that those three entities need to have. And BOE will definitely engage whenever necessary to help, either relocate or dismantle as necessary.
Well, I can't speak for the county, even though years ago I worked there, but I would have thought that since we both share this challenge, that we could have gotten much more of a solid commitment, therefore knowing as a Board of Public Works that we're making a solid investment. Right now, I'm not sure we're making a solid investment when I think not only about the immediacy of doing it right now on one hand, but if this investment will last us as we continue to provide an infrastructure for housing for the homeless in the future. And I would think that the county that shares homelessness with us would certainly be able to make a commitment, a more lasting commitment. So it's nothing we can do about it, but at least I can express how I feel as a member of the Board of Public Works.
Absolutely, and well taken. It is, a question the BOE has asked. There hasn't been an answer yet for that, just so that we can also plan ahead with staff and, a year and a half, 2 years, what does that look like? But the answer hasn't come yet, and so well taken.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Commissioner Coloso?
Thank you, President Good. I don't have any questions for Ms. Quinones. I think she did a great job explaining this project, and just want to really point out and highlight a few things. I think you're starting a trend here of these projects that are being built in less than 100 days coming in at a low bid is no, small feat at all. So this is 17% below the city engineer's estimate, which is really, again, commendable, and they've been coming in low the last few times. So I just want to thank you for your work on that. Also, really appreciate the City Council office leaning in to really build up that community support before we begin construction. And it's nice to see in the board report the list of organizations from the neighborhood council to other stakeholders who are really leaning in and supporting this effort, which is really good to see. So I wanted to point that out and thank you on that too. And then the other thing I'll say with issues raised by Commissioner Davis, which is I think a lot of us have very similar concerns about the length of the lease, but I know the CAO's office is engaging with the county and really looking at this. But the longer term conversation, while that's being had, we still need to look at this issue that's happening right now. And so the current need is so great that we need to move forward, even though the lease is only for 3 years. A recent example of where we've extended the lease, for instance, is like in El Puente, which is the very first bridge home that we had in Council District 14th, in the same council district, where they had to revisit extending that lease, and they have. And so I know it can be a frustrating iterative process to feel like, we have to keep going back, but I know that everyone's working really hard to make sure that we keep these as long as possible, because it is an investment. So I just want to add that, but I completely understand your concern and share a lot of your concerns as well. But I just wanted to add that for context. But thank you, Ms. Quinones, for for your presentation on this as always, and I'm really looking forward to seeing another tiny home being built in the city. So thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner Closer. Yeah, I would just echo the excellent work that BOE has done in realizing cost shrinkage, for lack of a better way to put it. It's impressive what we're looking at on a per unit cost versus what some of the early ones were, which were complicated, and it's not as simple as it just being cheaper versus not. So stipulating to that, which Ms. Quinones, I certainly am sympathetic to. Still, great work. I know you all have really, really pushed to ensure that our contractors are being as cost efficient while also doing a great job as possible. So great work on that front. And then also, it is true, it is challenging getting a longer term commitment. Part of that is that, some of these properties are properties that they're not ready yet to just hand over completely, but they're ideal sort of spaces. And so we're sort of not getting what we want, but getting what we need, at least for the immediate sense. So I do echo Commissioner Closa, President Pro Tem Davis, that I know the CAO is working assiduously to ensure that these are that these have the life they need, for lack of a better way to put it, right? So, and in an ideal world, we may realize in 3 years or less than 3 years that in an ideal world that it's less, having that property is less urgent. We will see. So with that, I'll take a motion to approve the item.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
Thank you for your second, President Pro Tem Davis. Villegas, Garcia, any concerns? All right, hearing none, the item is adopted and approved forthwith. Ms. Quinones, have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Can't wait for that groundbreaking. Okay. 98 days. That's impressive, too.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, folks. That brings us to item 3. Item 3 is release of stop notice, Steel Girder LLC DBA Stinger Bridge and Iron. Steel Girder LLC DBA Stinger Bridge and Iron is transmitting a release of stop notice in the amount of $1,022,827.89 for materials furnished and labor in connection with the Taylor Yard Bikeway Pedestrian Bridge over Los Angeles River project. The primary contractor is Ortiz Enterprises, Inc., C-131965, communication number 122517, filed August 12, 2021. Any questions or concerns on this, colleagues? All right, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Do I have a second?
Teresa.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. So with no objections, Commissioner Closer or President Pro Tem Davis?
No objections from me.
Okay, hearing none. Item 3, this release of stop notice is adopted and approved forthwith. Thank you. All right, we're actually going to continue item 5. But in the meantime, let's hear item 4, status update on a major upcoming street improvement projects. Is that Jorge Garcia?
Yes. Good morning, Dr. Good.
Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioners, Board Representatives, Dr. Campos, good morning. This information has been provided to keep the public informed of the upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as delays to commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on major upcoming street improvement projects. In the Metro region on Saturday, 8/21 and Sunday, 8/22 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we will Kogna and pave Normandy Avenue, Carson Street, city limits south of 225th and CD 15, Harbor Gateway, South Neighborhood Council, PPP funding. Additionally, during the week, we will complete 10 projects for a total of 7.5 lane miles in the Valley region on Saturday 8/28 and on Sunday 8/29 from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. We will co-mill and pave Laurel Canyon Boulevard from Roscoe Boulevard to Satacoy and CD2, North Hollywood Northeast Neighborhood Council Project PPP Fund. During the week of 8/22 through 8/28, we will complete 14 projects for a total of 6.32 lane miles. Stakeholders have been notified and press releases have been broadcasted. This information is also provided on the Streets LA website, streetsla.lacity.org. And that's pretty much what we have for this week.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Appreciate that. Like your background there. Any questions, colleagues?
Well, my only question, Mr. Garcia, is where are you? Where is that?
You know what? Honestly, this is just what my imagination drew up today. I mean, this is something I wish I would be.
Good answer.
Actually, Vice President Garcia, Ted Jordan took that picture.
Yeah.
No.
They're in stock now.
I did take my picture.
Yeah, I know. I assumed as much, Ted. I'd have been shocked if you told me otherwise. Mr. Garcia, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. I really appreciate the report.
You too. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. You guys have a great weekend as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Folks, for item 5, we're going to continue. We will continue to next Friday, August 27th, okay? Lastly, for today, per our town hall on Wednesday, I have one piece of housekeeping to take care of, and then a prospective item. The housekeeping is this: I went back and watched some of the proceedings and was reminded that I talk really fast and that others talk very fast and very jargony. And I failed to acknowledge and thank the exceedingly hardworking interpreters who had a lot to interpret, as well as our indefatigable Commissioner Jessica Calosa, who really teed all that up, worked very hard with Dr. Campos to make sure that that was all there. And really want to thank you, Commissioner Calosa, and thank our interpreters who hopefully somewhere out in the ether will hear the good word, because I know we gave them a heck of a task, that is for sure. Little 4.5-hour marathon with Moss's presentation alone would scare anyone away from that profession. So as dazzling as it was. So thank you, Commissioner Calosa, and thank you to our interpreters, and thank you, Dr. Campos, also for working to make that happen. Secondly, I want to, I'm introducing a verbal motion per our conversation at the town hall. And this will be to establish a ad hoc advisory committee. And this will be as an item for next Wednesday for the board to deliberate on the actual written motion. But I'm introducing verbally the motion to establish an ad hoc advisory committee to provide guidance to and review third-party and internal assessments of the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant incident of July 11, 2021, and develop a summary report identifying the causes of the incident, as well as other conclusions regarding recovery costs and recommendations to avoid recurrence of similar future incidents. This will be a advisory committee of 2 members of the board. That motion will be before you next Wednesday. And with that, Dr. Campos, any other information necessary?
No, that's it, Mr. President. We will go ahead and note that into the journal for today, and we will add that to the agenda for Wednesday, August 25th, and we will bring that motion before your board for consideration.
Terrific. Thank you, Dr. Campos. It is 10:36 in the a.m. And I am bereft of items. Any last questions or parting thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? All right, hearing none, this meeting is officially adjourned. Thanks, y'all, and see you in a few.